13-Week Theater is supported by Patreon. Subscribers get exclusive early access. And by the financial support of viewers like you. Thank you. In September of 1930, King Features Syndicate introduced Blondie, a comic strip created by artist Chick Young. Originally envisioned as the adventures of a young flapper named Blondie Boopadoop as she romanced a number of different boyfriends, the strip struggled to find readers as the deepening Great Depression made stories of the rich and famous less appealing to readers. Young quickly pivoted, having Dagwood Bumstead, one of Blondie's suitors, finally proposed to her. The heir to a railroad fortune, Dagwood was disinherited when he insisted on marrying Blondie, and the strip was converted into a comedy about the everyday life of a working-class couple. Thus began one of the most successful runs of a comic strip in history, one that continues to today. In 1938, King Features partnered with Columbia Pictures to make a movie version of Blondie starring Penny Singleton and Arthur Lake, which would wind up being the start of a 28-film series.
Hurry, baby. Hurry up, baby. Open the door. Let a cat stand back there. He comes by awfully fast. Goodbye. Bye.
That was quite a jolt.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Beasley. Are you hurt?
He broke my record. That's the first time he's got me in 6 months.
A promotional appearance by the two as Blondie and Dagwood on Bob Hope's radio show in 1938 got such great response that CBS and R.J. Reynolds commissioned a Blondie radio show starring Singleton and Lake.
Oh, so that's why you asked for pemmican in that tea room.
Well, I just wanted to taste it.
I guess it would taste pretty fishy. They live on fish, don't they?
Who lives on fish?
Pemmicans. You know, remember? Oh, what a bird is a pemmican. His beak can hold more than...
Oh, no, dear. Pemmican is dried meat, mixed with raisins and things to make it more nourishing. You take it on safari.
Oh, take it where?
On safari. That's an African word, too.
Both the film series and the radio show ended in 1950 amidst contract disputes between the production houses, King Features and Chick Young. But the syndicate hadn't given up on their favorite couple yet. The next logical step was to try and launch a Blondie TV show. Producer Stephen Schlesinger, who held the TV rights at the time, tried to lure Penny Singleton back into the role, but she said she would only play it against Arthur Lake, and Schlesinger wasn't interested in him. And frankly, Arthur Lake was kind of tired of Dagwood. A couple of failed attempts at producing a pilot followed, and while some sources say that one was actually finished in 1951, Schlesinger's death ended the project altogether. With the rights reverting to King Features after Schlesinger's death, they partnered with Hal Roach Studios, and a pilot was shot in 1954, starring Pamela Britton as Blondie and Hal Leroy as Dagwood.
Cookie, honey, hurry up. Open the door. Dagwood! 1 minute to bus time. Coming!
It failed to find a sponsor, and no network was interested in picking it up without one. But King Features and Hal Roach Jr. wouldn't take no for an answer. During this time, Arthur Lake had been trying to create a TV show around his family in the style of Ozzie and Harriet, but that had only led to another unsold pilot. When Roach learned that Lake was again available, he signed him on to once again play Dagwood alongside Britton.
Come on, children, line up. Daisy, come on, gang.
Alexander, open the door. Hurry up, Dagwood, you'll be late. Coming, Blondie!
This time, sponsors were interested. Roach announced a deal to syndicate the show to 65 independent television stations, with Wesson Oil and Sunkist sponsoring. But before that deal could be inked, NBC stepped in and picked up Blondie. The show ran for a single season before low ratings and poor critical reception killed it. And yet, King Features, once again, couldn't understand that no means no. Instead of shelving the project permanently, they just put it on the back burner for another decade. In 1966, King Features re-edited and repackaged the 28 theatrical films with a brand new common opening for a syndication package for independent television stations.
Pretty face, funny hat. That's what my Blondie is.
Lovable feet, both flat. That's what my Dagwood is.
Response was so great that, once again, King decided to give a Blondie TV series a try. Partnering this time with K-Row Productions, they produced a pilot for CBS.
Blondie, so soft, so bouncy.
No, please, stop singing! Stop! Okay, let's replace the theme with something a little less annoying. Yeah, that'll do. Blondie was played by Patricia Hardy. Dagwood was played by Will Hutchins, best known for playing the title character in the Western series Sugarfoot. Peter Robbins, best known as the original voice of Charlie Brown, played Alexander. And child actress Pamela Ferdin was Cookie. And fresh off that damned island, Jim Backus starred as Mr. Dithers. Other than being in color, not much was different about this Blondie series. It was dominated by the same types of plots as the series and films before it.
Blondie! Hey, Blondie, wake up. Harold Jellison never hit the house with a newspaper at 5:30 in his life.
What time would you like him to hit the house with the paper, dear? Dagwood, I usually have to wake you. Why are you so worried about the time this morning?
Because today is the most important day in my life. Daylight savings started last night. Blondie, you remembered to change the clocks last night, didn't you?
Oh, no, dear. I leave those mechanical things up to you.
Gee, honey, I thought you were going to take care of all that.
Well, which way were we supposed to move the clocks, dear?
Well, you're supposed to move the clocks forward an hour, dear. Or you're supposed to push the clocks backward.
And, yeah, even the same
answer,
jokes.
Power failure darkens most of city last...
Dagwood, that means the clock stopped.
My gosh, that means it could be 8 o'clock, or 9, or even 10. Oh, I'm getting out of here.
Dear, your coat.
Oh, here, my coat. Where is it? Upstairs.
No, he's still in there.
Yeah, we know how this ends. We've been here before.
Instead, I've been thinking it over. You did a lot of hard work on those plans, and I think that you should have the satisfaction of presenting them to Mr. Hilton, yourself personally, you might say.
Hey, Jingo.
Hey, Jingo. Do have a way with words. So you'll be at the Ritz Plaza, 5:30, Mr. Hilton's suite.
Hi.
You must be Mr. Bumstead. I'm Honey Hilton, Mr. Hilton's daughter.
Oh, Well, I'm who you said I was.
You want to explain again why we're doing this?
Well, Mom and Dad couldn't go to the Japanese restaurant. So, she's going to surprise them with a Japanese dinner here.
How come Mom's cooking spaghetti?
Mom says it's the spirit of the thing that counts. That's why we're all going to be wearing Japanese costumes. Yuck.
Did I get the makeup on right? Ah, perfecto. I have the two smaller costumes here for your children. Under you say your husband will wear a simple kimono?
Yes. You see, we were going to have dinner at that Japanese restaurant across the street, but some urgent business came up.
One positive change was that this incarnation of Blondie was no submissive housewife. Hardy's Blondie was a modern woman, smart, headstrong,
Urgent business with a red-headed pair of legs.
And when she got angry, this Blondie wasn't going to take anything from anyone, not even Dagwood.
Excuse me. I'm glad to see you had enough sense to wear a costume. Watch your step. These are your boots right here. Start with the tea.
What?
The tea. Start pouring tea to anyone that you see and take the orders later. Oh, tonight we're pushing the chop doctor.
No, wait a minute.
Don't just stand there, sweetheart. Get the tea. Be right with you.
There it is. See, now, the blonde on the left's my wife. And the blonde on the right's my dog. Miss Hilton,
Why don't you just plan on calling me honey?
all right, honey. Sure as all...
I'm not. He's touched the Holly.
Where are you going?
To call a cab. I'm not one of your waitresses.
CBS picked up the show for their 1968 fall season, slotting it at 7:30 on Thursday nights. And as you can expect, things did not go well. The critics absolutely savaged the show. Ben Gross of the New York Daily News called it an amusing charade. Don Page of the Los Angeles Times called it witless, an unmitigated disaster, and advised the stars to change their names before it was too late. Part of the problem was that the new Blondie was just in the middle of a huge upheaval in television. Simplistic family sitcoms like Blondie were a staple of the 1950s, but by 1968, they were on their way out. Audiences wanted realism in modern storytelling or broad fantasy, even in their comedies. And with Blondie just rehashing domestic plots and jokes from 1957 or 1950 or 1939, it was just seen as old hat. The one thing that kept Blondie on as long as it had was a major miscalculation on CBS's part. The network had ordered only 10 new pilots for consideration the year that Blondie was greenlit, and the network had literally nothing to replace it with. Well, that was only for the time being, though. They held out as long as they could before the continuing drop in ratings and ad revenues forced their hand. CBS pulled the plug on January 9th, 1969, after 14 episodes. Pamela Ferdin later said that the cancellation was so sudden, the cast learned about it during lunch in the commissary while shooting an episode that would never be finished. Speaking of Pamela Ferdin, she would be the one to come out of Blondie with the biggest success. Peter Robbins recommended her to producer Lee Melendez when he was looking for a new actress to play the part of Lucy Van Pelt. She starred as Lucy in 2 TV specials in the film A Boy Named Charlie Brown, which would also be Robbins' last time playing everyone's favorite blockhead. Ferdin remained in demand as a child actor until she later quit acting to go on to notable careers as a registered nurse and an animal rights activist. Not much of the 1968 Blondie series appears to have survived. In fact, as of this recording, only 1 full episode and clips from the pilot appear to have survived. This is much to the chagrin of fans of martial arts, because one of the episodes that's still missing has Dagwood being taught karate by a very young Bruce Lee. And as for Blondie itself, its two-dimensional world with short gags and stunts ended up back on the comics page, where it belongs.
Life with us is fun
and crazy.
Baby duckling.
Us and Daisy.
What a family. Incredible, bumsteadable.
Hurry, you'll miss your bus.
Watch out, you'll burn your stew. Nothing's too much for us. As long as with me there's you.
Dagwood and Blondie.
Blondie and Dagwood.
Always with me there's you.
Monkey.